So what is that thing? The key for us was the temperature data and that island. Our verdict, mirage. A temperature inversion caused an island that's usually a bump on the horizon to look like a phantom ship. It's January 17th, 2020 in Fargo, North Dakota. Winter has really set in with packed snow and ice on the ground, temperatures dipping to 1 degree overnight. After looking at an office space to rent, accountant and mother of 6, Nicole Hepner, returns to her car and records something very strange. It's very icy, and it was so windy that I could hardly even walk on the sidewalks. It was almost blowing my feet out from underneath me. And I noticed that there was a light pole in the parking lot that was just wiggling. It was rattling really loudly. Everyone thought it was really unique and crazy and special. It just made it think that we can all feel the cold. It affects things that even aren't alive, like our cars and the buildings. And here's what makes this a mystery. We can see that the wind was blowing. Look at that bush. But strangely, there's an identical pole in the background that doesn't seem to move at all. Animism is a religious belief that objects and plants have souls. And while there is no way to test whether that's true or not, we can try to see if there's a scientific explanation for what we're seeing here, no matter how uncanny it may be. So let's have our experts weigh in. Could the cold have caused this? Atmospheric scientist Dr. Deanna Hintz has pulled up the weather data from that day when temperatures were well below the freezing mark. Typically speaking, these kind of poles easily withstand cold temperatures. We see these kind of light poles all over the country, and they're built to withstand a wide range of conditions. So that takes us to the wind. Could it be to blame? Given that hint that the wind was affecting the bush within the video screen, I just wanted to check and see the wind speeds. It turns out that they were going at a pretty healthy clip, anywhere from roughly about 30 to closer to 40 miles per hour. In fact, Hintz says a blizzard was blowing through the region that weekend, at times causing whiteout conditions. But physicist Dr. Hakeem Al-Ushaihi says it's not only the speed of the wind that matters, but its direction and frequency. Any gust of wind is not going to cause a light pole to shake in this way. What we're looking at potentially is resonant phenomena. And so what matters is the frequency of the wind. Everything solid has a natural frequency of vibration. Well, you don't have to hit an object with a hammer. You can hit it with the wind. The wind makes vibrations in this lamppost, and these vibrations are magnified if they resonate with the length of the lamppost. So with the vibration of the wind hitting the light post has the same frequency as the natural frequency of the post, it amplifies the vibration, causing this resonance effect. Physicist Dr. Michio Kaku says if the resonance were to get strong enough, the light pole might actually collapse. That's what happened in 1940 in Washington. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge collapsed as a consequence of wind passing over the bridge, causing the entire bridge to oscillate like a snake. This is a phenomenon known as aeroelastic flutter, which occurs when the energy from the wind is rapidly absorbed by the structure and converted into mechanical vibrations. So, our verdict. It was certainly cold enough in North Dakota to make people shiver, but the light post is vibrating so violently because the wind gusts are causing resonance. And the adjacent light post isn't moving because the wind is hitting it at a different frequency. Perhaps because the vibrating post is in a tight wind tunnel. It's May 2020, and when Alexa Walkovitz learned her mother's dog, Lala, was lost, she and her friend Anna did something you might find hard to believe. We live in our homes to pick the settings, and we just think really, really long and hard about Lala. Let's visualize in our mind us finding her. What? Well, believe it or not, it's all about an app called Randonautica. Alexa and her friends set an intention and thought of her mother's dog. The Randonautica app, which claims to direct people to a real-world encounter with those intentions, then displayed random GPS coordinates near her home in the Mojave Desert. We're walking forward, and Anna turns to me and kind of like says, "What's that?" There was a little animal. "Where did you come from?" And I realized it was a dog. Take another look. Out of nowhere, this dog appears in the desert. Now, it turned out this dog wasn't her mother's. It had escaped from a nearby property. And although Alexa never found Lala, she is convinced the app taps into the power of the mind. It's kind of a healing adventure because maybe that is my dog speaking to that dog and was trying to say to you, like, listen, it's okay. Here I am to comfort you for a moment. Experiences like Alexa's made Randonautica the craze of 2020. In just 3 months, the app drew over 15 million downloads, with thousands of posts on social media of people declaring their intentions. The intention for Irene in that journey is purple, heading to random locations. Is that a purple house? And finding their wishes at least partially fulfilled. Like thinking of purple and then having the app lead to this backyard. It's kind of blowing my mind right now. So does the world of the mind connect with the physical world? Can Randonautica really manifest our intentions? We asked our friendly physicist to come up with an experiment to test it. Dr. Hakeem Oluseyi and Dr. Michio Kaku give us our guidelines. In order to test this idea to see if it works, you have to do a lot of tests to remove the statistical uncertainties, and you have to keep very careful records of when you're right and when you're wrong. Second, when it comes to a goal, make it specific and not metaphorical. My intention was adventure and cool stuff, and this is so cool. Not something that looks pretty. No, cash. That to me would be a very convincing experiment. So that's just what we did, asking our test subject to declare cash as her intention. $100. $100. The app generates random GPS coordinates. Now let's see where we're going. Front of a hairbrush? So far, no cash. All right, my intention, $100. $100. He's out here. Buffalo fan. Our subject keeps repeating the experiment. My intention, $100. Then, at one location, no dollar bills, but batteries. So we didn't find any money at this location, but there is a bank really close to here. So you never know, maybe that's what you're here. Like many Randonautica stories, the exact intention didn't manifest, but something kind of related. So what's happening here? Kaku believes the explanation is something called the synchronicity effect, a phenomenon where people interpret two coincidental events as intertwined. Wow. Synchronicity, for example, is you're thinking about Joe, and Joe calls you on the telephone, and you say to yourself, aha, I knew it, I'm psychic. This is kind of blowing my mind right now. But Kaku explains, while everyone remembers the occasional hits, most of the time they're misses. You forget about that. But think of all the times when you thought about Jane and Harry, and they didn't call you. Our verdict, most likely coincidence, which comes from people making very general wishes like something that will make me happy. But there is a lot we still don't know about this universe. But that's what we think. What do you think?